Hey, YouTube family. Good to see you. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening. Not sure where you might be right now in your day, but welcome to Happy Crappy Hour. Welcome to Escape from Crazytown. This is our weekly live stream in which we talk about what went well this week and what did not go well this week. So we are going to focus on what well, today's topic is going to be the 9 rules that toxic people set in relationships with us. And the reason I want to go through these rules is because just recently I was witnessing something and it made me realize how toxic a particular person was. And as I was watching them, I realized, holy cow, they have these set rules in how they treat other people. They also have these set rules in how they expect other people to behave around them. And if you don't play by their rules, they leave, right? So, and it sounds somewhat healthy if you have healthy boundaries and people break your boundaries, then you leave. I understand that. But the rules that toxic people and narcissists set are very irrational and very self serving and extremely detrimental to other people. So that's why I want to cover that today. I'm going to give you guys a few moments here to hop on. And let me see, where are we here? Oh, okay, everything looks all right. I'm going to start with my happy and my crappy this week. So, well, I'll start with my crappy. My crappy was I was not really, I was rushing around a lot this morning. So it was kind of a little flustering, right? And I just don't like that. I don't like it when I'm flustered. I don't like rushing around. I like to be extremely early. And of course, I was on time for this live stream, but for me, I like to be settled and ready to go for pretty much 20 minutes before I go live stream. And this time I was pretty much like the moment I sat down, I had to go live. So, you guys, that was my crappy. So, I have to choose though, between more sleep or more rest or get up and start my day. And I have a lot of stuff I have to do in the beginning. So, anyway, that was my crappy. I probably have to just learn to forfeit the sleep and get up on time. All right, you guys. It's so easy to push that snooze bar, isn't it? But I got to get away from that. That's a really bad habit of mine. So my happy this week, you guys, was that an old college friend of mine came to visit. She's my best friend, actually, from college, and we hadn't seen each other in, gosh, I don't know, 3 years, I guess now. So that's pretty good for us. So, Angel, good to see you. Says good morning. Ugh, hate to rush. It happens though. Your videos are always great. Thanks for them. Oh, thank you, Angel. I appreciate that. So glad. Yeah, that was, my crappy, if you guys are just getting on, is that I was rushing around this morning. I guess I was just trying to get too much done. That's the other thing, too. I give myself an hour and a half. I mean, so I give myself plenty of time, right, to get things done. But then it's like, oh, I try to get too much done, honestly. So I got to set this time aside and not try to do too much, maybe. I keep thinking I can get up earlier, but I'm thinking, I really don't want to. So anyway, you guys, hey, good to see you, John. Hey, Obi-Wan, you made it. It's been a while. Oh my goodness, I'm so glad you guys are here. So you guys, yeah, my happy was that an old college friend came and got to spend time with her. I gotta tell you something though. Okay, her husband and I got into somewhat of a heated discussion, if you will. And what I noticed through it was he was pretty stubborn on his point of view and the way he was communicating, the words he was choosing. And he wasn't being disrespectful or mean or anything like that. And I don't think I was being disrespectful or mean towards him either. But we were both pretty emotionally uh, invested in this discussion. So it lasted, oh, that's the other thing. Nothing good happens, late at night. It was from 10 to midnight. So, don't get into arguments with people from 10 to midnight. But I have good news for you at least. We resolved it, we worked it out. Through this discussion, what I recognized was when he was being stubborn, I was being stubborn. And so I had to stop and check myself and think, should I stop and just let um, this stubbornness, right? I want to cling to, but he has to see my point of view. How can he not see my point of view? And he's doing the same thing. How can she not see my point of view? And so we were, talking past each other and not really communicating, even though we were using the same words. But here's the deal: sometimes the same words don't mean the same thing to different people. So that's what happened with us. The same words did not mean the same thing to each of us. So we were arguing from what those words meant to each of us. Anyway, it was resolved. We worked it out. We're still friends. To my friend's delight, she was so worried. She's like, oh no, what's going on here? But I don't back down. I don't back down from disagreements. What happens is, I think a lot of times there are people who are very pushy, people who are very opinionated, people who are very arrogant. And a lot of times they think that the room agrees with them because nobody argues back with them, right? But here's the deal: no one wants to argue back with them. No one wants to get into a conflict with them. No one likes the confrontation. So they'd rather just let this arrogant blowhard go on and say what they got to say. And then they just let that person walk away thinking they won an argument, or they got their point across and everybody apparently agrees with them because everybody was quiet, or nobody challenged them. So therefore, everybody must have agreed with them. And that's what, I kind of did open his eyes to that. We had other discussions throughout. I don't shy away from hard discussions, by the way, you guys. I really don't. And I certainly don't mean to make people angry, or I probably do make people defensive at times, but I don't know that I make them, they get defensive. It's a choice we each make for ourselves. So I'll not take responsibility for that. But when I see somebody who I feel like maybe they just don't understand, maybe they don't get it, maybe they're not seeing the big picture, I want to show it to them. And maybe I'm wrong, maybe my big picture isn't right either. So I'm also open to, hey, if you want to discuss this and open my eyes to your perspective, I'm glad to see it. I want to see that. So yeah, anyway, so that was my happy, I guess, right? A little bit of growth for both of us. So here we go. Hey, you guys, let me see what we got here. Angel says, don't be so hard on yourself. You do lots. Oh, yeah, because I was talking about how my crappy was. I do so much. Anyway, I do a lot of stuff for people and around. And anyway, I'm not going to get into it because then you might. Anyway, not going to get into details. But I take care of a lot of things. So I was just getting down on myself with a crappy because I feel like I was rushing so much this morning and trying to get on here on time for you guys, and I hate to be late. So, anyway, thank you, Angel. OB1 says, I'm not writing a book or making a channel. I get literally sick even thinking of these disgusting creatures. Oh my gosh, OB1, yes. Let me tell you what, there were times I've thought, should I continue this channel because I don't want to get stuck here. I don't want to get stuck thinking about negative, toxic, narcissistic people who are damaging and frustrating, right? They're very frustrating people. And when you concentrate on a particular thing, that kind of takes over your mood for a while anyway, and possibly the rest of the day and sometimes a week, right? I don't really suffer from that. I have in the past, but I can talk about something in the moment, be in that moment, submerge myself into that moment. But then when I am done with it, I can put it behind me, and I got to figure out what it is I do now that's so different. But I do focus on other things that are good, that are happy, that are positive, that are productive. And it gets me out of the negativity of focusing on toxic people. And Anyway, this channel, obviously, right, is about dissecting, figuring out what in the world, what makes these people tick, how do we handle them, how do we not become a victim, of their tactics, how do we survive, how do we heal, how do we find a better life after trauma with them, right? And I guess the focus is two-sided. One is we do have to focus on what happened, what just happened to us. And then the other thing is we can't stay there though. So we got to move forward. We got to look forward and say, okay, now how do we heal from this? And then once we heal from this, how do we get stronger and find that beautiful life? Anyway, you guys, that's, it is hard when you focus on negative things for a long time, like writing a book, doing a channel, making all these videos. But I'm really trying to stay strong and positive because it's really easy to get negative, pessimistic, skeptical. And then you start to just be a very negative person. And that's not what I want to be. So, you guys, Measure Twice says nothing good happens. Okay, like mad, passionate sex. That's awesome. But that can happen earlier too, by the way, in the day. But mostly not a whole lot happens that's good late at night. So that's kind of been my rule for a long time, that it might be exciting. I've gone out to see meteor showers and things like that, but I don't go out seeking argument, conflict, getting drunk, although I have done that. But yeah, not like regularly, not every day, every week, not every month, but a celebration once in a while, I understand, goes late into the night. I get it. C. Thomas says, hello. So hello to you. New Earth for Peace says, hello, my immortal beloveds. Yes, toxic people are aggressive, either actively or passively. That's it. Boundary bullies. Yes. Measure Twice. Good to see you. Says, yes. Word choice is something I struggle with and have to be mindful of. I tend to pick words that exaggerate. Okay. You know what? Sometimes words that exaggerate. I had a boss once. Whenever we saw him, and he was this old, he could have been a crusty guy, but he wasn't crusty. He was actually a very upbeat guy. Every time we'd see him and ask him, hey, how are you doing? Good morning. How are you? He'd say, scintillating. We're like, oh, okay. Or effervescent. So a bit of an exaggeration, but it was a positive exaggeration, which kind of made us smile. So I like that. Exaggerating. Yeah, I get it. Sometimes it's not good. Sometimes it's great. Diva R, good to see you. You made it. So glad you're here. Jihad, good to see you. Says, good morning, everyone. Angel says, good for you for standing your ground. Yeah, you know what? I also want you to let you know that sometimes when the person, and this is not the case with my friend's husband, he seemed like he was reachable, right? He seemed like he wanted me to understand. And so, and he wasn't getting mean or calling me names or being degrading. So I don't mind having a conversation with somebody who's respectful, but or a disagreement with someone who is disrespectful. But when it turns to name calling and they're degrading you, they're not open to a discussion. They're not open to hearing what you have to say. They're not even treating you like you're a person, right? That's what toxic people do, by the way. So we're getting a little preview on today's topic. And I'm going to get to that actually, you guys. There are a bunch of comments already. So this is so awesome, you guys. Oh, Diva says certain coaches are trying to make money off survivors and it's not right. Yeah. New Earth says your channel is amazing. Talk about anything you want. It's you we adore. I have no toxics in my life, but I'm still here. Woohoo! Oh, I'm so glad. I'm so glad you're here, even though, that's what I hope too. It's like we can just have a discussion and we can become YouTube friends. This is a YouTube family and we can have this camaraderie while we're here, and it's so bizarre, but we can walk through life doing this, really, honestly. So these friends of mine from college, I'm just going to give you this one thing more. She and her husband play a lot of video games, not, I don't think it's like really horrible, violent, super violent ones, but they do ones where they get together with the same people and they've met people across the country, across the world, playing these games, and they've done it for so many years with the same groups of people that now they go and visit these people, around the country, and that's what they're doing today. Actually, they're visiting somebody they had met online doing video games. I think it was like 6 years ago. So they became friends. When you meet up twice a week, 1 or 2 hours each time for 6 years, you tend to get to know each other. And I kind of feel like, you guys are getting to know me. I'm getting to know you. This is actually quite interesting and new because it's technologically driven, right? We would not have been doing this 15 years ago or 20 years ago. But nowadays, it seems like, you know, maybe this is the direction we're going. But I also love the face to face, what am I trying to say? Face to face friendships, the ones that you meet with. And I have that, which I love. And I make sure I meet up with my friends pretty regularly. Hey, you guys, boy, I do get off, don't I? On different little trails. Agriculturist says, good afternoon. Good to see you. Um, oh, yeah. New Earth says, yes, I always ask them, are you asking or are you accusing? That's a good point. Good point. Kay Hudson, hello. Good to see you. Oh, I remember seeing you before, Kay. Yes, in some of the comments. Measure Twice says, you two friends are still a form of friends. Yes. And especially if we meet regularly, we kind of get to know each other, talking about our happies and crappies and what we're going through. Yeah. Diva says, it's healthy to have like minded survivors to converse with. Measure Twice says, that is pretty cool. Your friends visiting gaming friends, similar to one of 4 marriage introductions are from online dating now. Yeah. Yep. Shahad says, one good thing for me is the company I work for had a competition in most sales and I won. What? So I get a weekend trip to Cancun or Hawaii. What? Congratulations. I'm very proud of you. You deserve it, Jihad. I'm so excited for you. Good job. So you guys, we're going to dive into it now. That like if you guys won't mind, we can put in the comments that the topics begin at around marker 18 minutes. I guess we're coming up on 18 minutes. All right. So the 9, okay, the 9 traits that toxic people or narcissists, not traits, rules, right? The 9 rules that narcissists or toxic people set on you and on your interaction with them, which are completely unreasonable, of course, right? So I got these ideas as I was watching a person, like a real live person. I was watching this person interacting with other people, and I was like, holy cannoli, right? This is not normal. And I felt really bad for the people this person was interacting with because I thought they like this person. They're friends with this person. And some of them are madly in love with this person. They just think this person is um, the I don't know what to say, the end of the earth, everything, they're everything. Because this person is a narcissist. I don't know that, okay, I'm not diagnosing, I know that's horrible, but they are very narcissistic and they're very self centered. And this is number 1. So at minute 19, it says, I'm going to tell you the first one. The first one is, you believe me even when I lie. So even when I'm lying to you, you need to believe me because that shows me that you trust me. You see how crazy that is? They expect to be trusted, and you have to trust them because if you don't trust them, that if you don't, if you question them, if you have any hesitation, then they think you're the enemy. They don't, because they don't like you to be able to think for yourself. You cannot question them, period. So number 1 is, you believe me even when I lie to you. Number 2, you have to forgive me, but I don't have to forgive you. Yes. Oh my gosh, you guys, this is what was so crazy watching this person. I was like, do they not know that they are not being very forgiving? They are demanding that other people forgive them for what they do. And not just forgive them, but accept them. Like you have to accept all of the things I do that are horrible and mean and wrong. And yeah, so they don't even think about it being forgiving. They need your forgiveness, but they do expect it. They expect you to just allow, accept, forgive all of their bad behavior. But the moment you do something, say you use a tone, once you you forgot something accidentally, you were discourteous momentarily, you bumped into them and they took it as aggression, but it was just you didn't see them and you were running past, but they take it as a huge injury and therefore they don't forgive you at all. Like you cannot make mistakes around them. But all of their mistakes we're supposed to forgive, right? And accept. Number 3 is what you want doesn't matter because only what they want matters. Oh, right? It's like that's the crown of selfishness. They want what they want when they want it. What you want doesn't matter. So if they want to go, oh my gosh, I remember seeing these relationships where the one in the couple is always, they're always doing whatever the toxic person wants to do. And the only time they do what the other person wants to do um, is when the toxic person realizes they might lose them if they don't do it, but then they end up doing it begrudgingly. Like, oh, you want to go play golf? I hate golf. I'm not going to go play golf. But then, they'll go, but then they'll complain the whole time. They're rushing you through it. They're cursing through the whole time. They're insulting you. So they make it so miserable for you that you really don't even want to do the things you like to do because they're just going to make it horrible anyway. So, but they want to go, say, garage sailing, right? They want to go to the garage sales and you hate going to garage sales, but they love it, and so you got to get up at whatever, 7 in the morning, go with them to find the best, whatever, be the first out there to find the best deals. And you're like, I just want to sleep in on a Saturday. But you have to go and you have to go happily and you have to make it very pleasant for them. So they want what they want is what matters because what you want doesn't matter. That's number 3. So number 4, let me see, you guys. I'm just ripping through these, but oh my gosh, you guys. Let me see some of these comments. I'm gonna pause here. So we did 3, and there are 9. So I'll give it a pause. This is a good time to pause for a moment. Nice to have others that relate, Angel says. Obi-Wan, I don't agree with this. Obi says, friends are people who don't have the guts to kill you? No, friends wouldn't kill you. And they actually, friends have guts, Good friends are strong people too, A good friend is really well aware of who they are and they're not volatile. They're not what you call fair. What is that when you're why can't I think of these words? They're not they're not fair weather friends. That's what it was. Yeah, good friends are people who stick with you and who are strong enough to be there with you, right? And when you're a good friend, you do the same. You're strong enough to be there with them. You're not fickle. You're not a fair weather friend. You're also you have healthy boundaries too. So yeah. You're crazy, Obi-Wan. You make me laugh, though. Diva says, absolutely, Angel. Let me see what else you guys are saying. Oh, Angel says, I always miss the lives, but enjoy the videos much. Oh, I'm so glad, Angel. But I'm glad you're here today. You made it. Diva says, that's awesome, Jihad. I love Hawaii and Cancun. Man, I wouldn't mind going. Yeah, that would be so nice. Kay says toxic people do things accidentally on purpose. Yeah, that's their manipulation, by the way. Yeah. Um, let's see. Yeah, toxic people never forgive. No, they don't. But they expect you to forgive them, right? That's a huge thing. Lady Bobannon, good to see you. It's been a while. There's always a motive and they do stuff underhanded. Yep. These people don't understand how ludicrous their ideas sound, right? I know. This is why I laugh because I'm just like, I can't even understand how these people are so crazy. So, by the way, you guys, that's, when someone is trying to manipulate you and they're going to use anger to control you and try to get you to back down, but instead of feeling fearful when they use anger, you see it as kind of funny. It's hilarious, actually. It's ludicrous, right? When you see it as funny, you don't feel threatened when they use anger to try to manipulate you. Instead, you just walk away. They can't control you. When you give into that anger or their anger, right? When you give into fearing them, then they are able to control you. So we don't want that. Okay, you guys. Hun E, good to see you. uh, Okay, you guys, let me see. Oh my gosh, Jihad says, these rules are crazy, brings back all the craziness I went through, right? But it's so true. So whenever I see people displaying these rules, I think I identify it right away now. Before I used to give people the benefit of the doubt. Oh, they just want to do the things they like to do. That's all. No, they're being extremely selfish when they're a jerk while you're doing the things you like to do. That's them being a jerk, right? That's them being a toxic, horrible person and a child, right? An immature child. So, yeah, when I see these rules being uh, played out by any person, I right away, see them as wow, kind of like flags go off, danger, danger, danger. And I back up. Sadly, though, I see people playing by their rules because they intimidate people into playing their rules. They guilt these people into playing their rules. They manipulate people into playing their rules. But since I don't get manipulated easily anymore because I'm so aware now, after learning about narcissistic abuse, after learning about their tactics, I see it jump out at me practically, right? Okay, you guys. So, recap. You have to believe them even though they lie. That's rule number one. Number two is you have to forgive them even though they don't have to forgive you. Rule number two. Rule number three is what you want doesn't matter, only what they want matters. Okay, rule number four. You cannot question them. What they do is always right, even when it's wrong, right? So you cannot question them. What they do is always right, even when it's wrong. And they are extremely offended and they think that you are judging them, that you are being critical of them if you question them, right? And they feel like, look, I'm going to do what I'm going to do, even if it's wrong, because I'm figuring out my life. I'm going to hurt people. I'm going to live my life the way I'm going to live it. And they don't think at all about the person that they're entangling with. You can even equate, the narcissist will go so far as applying this with cheating in a relationship. Like if you question them cheating on you, then they get really upset and they think that you're judging them for cheating. Like, yeah, I kind of am actually, but you're not being, but then they label you as a judgmental person, right? They flip it around and they manipulate you into thinking you did something wrong by not accepting their cheating behavior. You see how crazy that is, right? How twisted and illogical that is. But for them, it's all logic because the end of all of their behavior and their rules is they win. That's the end. That's the end game for them is they win. So you cannot question them, and what they do is always right, even when it's wrong. because they're just trying to figure out life, and they don't want restrictions on their life. And how dare you restrict them by forcing them or requiring them or expecting them to behave morally, right? or or to be faithful. How dare you expect this of them? Because in the moment it felt right to them. So how dare you even question them? If you question them, you don't trust them. Remember that? So okay, that was rule number 4. You can't question them. Rule number 5, you don't interrupt them, but they can interrupt you, because what they have to say is more important. This is why it's really hard to argue with a narcissist, or what do you call it? Or a toxic person, honestly. And this is why I don't argue with toxic people or narcissists. I don't, because there's no point. Absolutely no point. That's when they start degrading you, calling you names, and they expect you to just sit and take it. How dare you interrupt them when they're trying to set you straight, right? And the only response from you has to be, "Oh, you're absolutely right. I was absolutely wrong." That's the only thing they want to hear from you. And even if you say that, they need to berate you for a while longer until their anger subsides. Okay. So, number 5 was, you don't interrupt me. That's the narcissist, right? But I can interrupt you because what I have to say is more important. That's how they think. Oh my gosh, you guys, this is so crazy. Okay, this is when I get into the mind of like, oh, what is the narcissist thinking when they're doing these things? And when I watch them behave this way, and I see them acting like, can I finish my sentence? You're not letting me finish my sentence. But they don't let you finish your sentence either. You're like, okay, well then I'll let you finish. But then when you try to speak, they're all over interrupting you, and you're like, well, okay, does this rule apply to both of us or just to you? Where you get to interrupt, but I don't. Oh my gosh. Okay, that was number 5. Number 6 is, my feelings make me right, but your feelings are just feelings. You hear that? Okay, that's what the narcissist does. Their feelings make them right, but our feelings are just feelings. Okay, and they believe that if they feel very strongly about something, if they feel insulted, if they feel offended, if they feel like you hurt them, then you intended to hurt them. You did it on purpose. And if you use the same thing towards them and you say, you when you forgot to pick me up at the airport, right? When you didn't even call ahead to tell me you weren't picking me up at the airport, that made me feel abandoned. That made me feel hurt, like you didn't care. And you tell them this. Their response is going to be, what the heck? I'm not responsible for your feelings. You guys, that's how they act. I'm not responsible for your feelings. If you're an adult, you can catch a cab. I don't have to tell you everything that I'm doing. And look, I forgot, so it was an accident. Are they going to apologize? No, they don't apologize even if it was an accident. And I have told little kids this before. Oh my gosh, I used to volunteer at a school, an elementary school. And I remember one time a little kid ran into another little kid, right? And made that kid drop whatever he was holding. And I stopped the first kid and I brought him back and I said, hey, buddy, you got to apologize. And the kid says, well, I didn't do it on purpose. I'm like, exactly. Because if you did it on purpose, you wouldn't apologize. Because you did it by accident, that's why you apologize. You say, oh, I'm sorry. I didn't mean to do that. So that's what I made, him do. I said, okay, now let's say those words. I'm sorry. I didn't mean to do that. And I think narcissists, like I've said a few times already, are narcissists and toxic people are like children. They are so self-centered, self-focused that they cannot see the damage they're doing to the people around them. And if they think, well, I didn't do it on purpose, then they don't have to apologize. Well, that's wrong. Like if you run into somebody's car, you right, you didn't do it on purpose unless you're trying to run them over, right? Most people are not trying to run other people over, but you run into their car with your car, you're going to apologize. It was your fault. You're not going to be like, well, I didn't do it on purpose, therefore I don't owe you anything and I'm not going to fix your car. But that's how narcissists think. Uh, so you guys, but their feelings make them right, and your feelings are just feelings. Okay. So that's another thing with them not taking responsibility, but then imposing responsibility on you for whatever they're feeling. It's always a double standard with narcissists, you guys. Always a double standard with toxic people. That was rule number 6. Hey, we're doing pretty well here, you guys. Let me take a break. We have 3 more rules to cover, and I want to see what you guys have to say. How back should I go here? All right. Lady Bobannon. I really like your title, by the way. It's hilarious. I love it. It's fun to say. Demanding is true. The ex would scream at me that I had to forgive him during arguments. Yep. I couldn't step away to calm down and process. I just had to accept stuff and move on. Yes. They want you to accept them fully. And that's part of their insecurity, by the way. Because if you don't accept their bad behavior and all of them, all of their nastiness and all their cruelty and all of, they consider it's like, I just have flaws. I have faults. I make mistakes. Not that they admit their mistakes, but we're supposed to not even bring up their mistakes. We're not supposed to make them responsible for their mistakes. Because if we do, then that's challenging them, or that's questioning them, right? So, and then they feel rejected and criticized and judged. So then they're going to make it seem like you're the one who's a horrible person for criticizing and judging and whatever, yeah, it's holding them responsible. Yeah. Obi says it matters during, oh wait, I missed something. Yep, Obi-Wan says it matters during the love bombing stage. Not quite sure what part that you're talking about there. Oh, their feelings? Oh, for sure, Angel says. And if you speak on their faults, you are wrong and crazy. Yep. Diva says the ex-narc would get mad at me for being mad at him for same BS he did. Yuck. So glad I got rid of him and never looked back. You see now, I mean, I know we all share these stories because narcissists and toxic people are irrational. They're illogical. And that's why you don't want to argue with them. There's no talking to them. There's no reasoning with them. You can't use logic with them. There's a Bible verse that tells us, actually, I think there's several, that warn us not to argue with fools. And that if you do, what happens is you enter the fool's world, and now you're going to be pulled into whatever horrible stuff that they're into, or you're going to get so caught up that you're going to become frustrated, angry. You're going to become something you're not, right? And become maybe a fool like them. So that's why we don't argue with fools. Yeah. So, but here's the other thing too, when I was at the beginning, I was telling you about people, I don't back down when I think, not like I'm challenging and pushing, it's just that I think, okay, well, let's have a reasonable discussion. Let's open this up. Let's investigate. Let's see the logic behind this. But when I see somebody who is obviously arrogant, toxic, narcissistic, and they're pushing their point of view, even though I know it's so wrong, it's so bad, it's so badly thought out, it's so wrong. They don't have the facts. It's all based on feelings. And of course, it's their feelings. And they'll conjure up a whole population that agrees with them, right? They'll conjure up like, oh, I know this group of people and I talked to them at the bar and they all agreed with me. Like, no, they probably didn't. They stayed quiet because they don't want to deal with your foolish talk. They don't want to engage with you because it's foolishness, right? So they take that though as people agreeing with them. And so when I don't argue with some fools, I'm sure, I'm almost sure anyway, I'm almost certain that they walk away thinking that I agree with them, but I don't. And even if I want to make it clear to them that I don't agree, and sometimes I'll do this if I think it's safe enough and they're not going to get all crazy, violent, toxic, angry, yelling, name calling and all that. I might just let them know, like, you know what, I just don't agree with you, and let it be. And they can keep crying and going on and whatever, but at least they know that I don't agree with them and I leave. But there have been times where I just walk out because I'm like, I can't even tell them I don't agree with them, because if I do, they're going to blow up. They're going to get, no one's gotten physically violent with me for doing that, but they are going to go crazy ape crap. Let me tell you, they just like hit the ceiling. They just flip out. And I don't want to deal with that. So, you guys, so good to see some of these comments here. Okay, Diva R says they love using the word crazy. That's their greatest projection. Oh, yeah, because they are crazy, right? Angel says, good job, Diva R. Measure Twice says, people having strong narcissistic qualities versus having actual professionally diagnosed narcissistic personality disorder are so similar. It's basically the same thing. I know, right? That's why I don't want to diagnose, but I do note the narcissistic behavior. If you watch any of my crime videos, I'll call these people narcissists, but I'm not clinically trained and all that stuff. But what I mean by that is, look at them in that moment, how they're behaving. They're a narcissist. And by the way, I choose these criminals because you can see right away how detached from reality they are. Oh my gosh, yeah. So Diva says, I agree, Obi, major losers. Okay, let's see what you guys have here. Okay, measure twice say. So if people say don't diagnose someone as having NPD, I say yes, call them a narcissist if they seem. Oh, I think I got blocked, cut off. JW, good to see you. Says the ex-narcissist always dressed like crap on purpose before going into public with me and ignored me as if we were not together. He made me feel so bad and unworthy. Ah, so sorry about that. Yeah, I do hope that you are recovering from that and realizing that you are so worthy. The way narcissists treat people is the way they feel about themselves, honestly. But they want you to treat them like they're gold, right? Like they're platinum. But they treat you and me, they treat us so badly because that's how they actually feel about themselves. Because people who actually feel good about themselves, people who feel grounded and solid inside, treat other people really well, by the way. They treat other people really well. Now, narcissists and toxic people will behave arrogant and act as if they believe in themselves and all that, and they are just total jerks to everybody around them. But yeah. Okay, Diva says narcs are the worst friends. Oh yeah, you cannot be friends with narcs. I just got rid of the last ones in my circle. Yes, life is amazing without narcs. Yes, they are. It is amazing without narcs, right? Measure Twice says, I say yes. Consider them a narcissist if they seem like one to you. Sassy Cat, good to see you. Says, Measure Twice incorrect. The missing component is a predatory exploitive quality. Strong people do it themselves. Okay. I'm not sure what that means. Lady LaBobanon. Oh, hold on. Before I get to that comment, I want to think about this a little bit. The missing components, predatory and exploitive. Yeah, you know what? Some narcissists are predatory, but some of them just, they're so self-centered, but they're so weak. They're not necessarily always predatory, but they will attack, and they will prey on whoever walks into their field of vision, into their life. They don't go seeking you, but if you come into their life through, say, mutual friends or gatherings, or working in the same place, they will prey on you. Yeah. And they'll prey on people who are well-meaning, people who are inviting them out because you feel bad that they're being left out, right? So you invite them out, you become friends with them, you check on them, you try to be caring towards them, and they will prey on that, which is they take advantage of it. Yeah. Oh, what do you guys have here? The only thing I don't mind being controlled by is my cat. Oh my gosh, you guys, I watched the cutest movie last night, so I'm going to recommend it. But I will, yeah, let me recommend it before I forget, because I think I'm going to forget. It's called Dog, hold on. Oh, Dog Days. That's what it's called. Dog Days, Days. And it was, if you're a dog person, oh my gosh, I'm a dog person. But I love cats too. I love a lot of different animals, but uh, something about dogs. Anyway, it was an awesome movie, very feel good movie. It was hilarious. They had so many dogs. I just fell in love with all the dogs on that movie. And at the end, in the credits, they have clips of the actors and the dogs. It's hilarious, even in the credits. So, measure twice. I think people with even narcissistic qualities is automatically a predator by default, regardless of having received a full blown NPD diagnosis or meeting all criteria. Yeah, there are predatory people out there who, maybe this is the way they were raised. Maybe they learn it's a learned behavior, and they're This is what I've said to you about narcissistic people. They're toxic. Let me tell you, whether they're diagnosed or not, they're toxic. We need to identify it, and that's what helps us to not get manipulated, not get pulled into their nonsense, okay? And not be used by them, not get abused, right? Don't get ourselves into that situation. So we need to be able to identify people who behave this way. And that's why I'm doing these 9 rules, by the way. When I was watching this person, I'm like, wow, I would never, ever get into a friendship with this person. I would never, ever get involved with this person. But sadly, a lot of people do. A lot of people get involved with narcissists or with narcissistic people, right? Especially when they seem like they're logical until the crazy comes on at the end and you're like, what the heck happened? How did I end up here? Uh, yeah, Kay says, toxic people hate to be called selfish. Oh, yeah, because they see themselves as altruistic. Now, that's part of one of these rules, by the way, you guys. Okay, let me recap. Number 1 was you have to believe them even when they are lying. Number 2 is you have to forgive them, but they don't have to forgive us. They don't have to forgive you. Number 3 is what you want doesn't matter because only what they want matters. Number 4 is you cannot question them. What they do is always right, even when it's wrong. Number 5 is you don't interrupt them, but they can interrupt you because what they have to say is more important. Number 6 was I wrote this in the first person initially because I wanted to say this is what narcissists are thinking. But number 6 is their feelings make them right, but your feelings are just feelings. Okay? So number 7 is even though they acted as if you're their soulmate and told you that you were their soulmate, they can flip their emotions off when you no longer give them narcissistic supply. Let me say that again. This one's kind of long. So even though they acted as if they were your soulmate and told you you were their soulmate, you're the only person for them, you're the most beautiful person they'd ever met, you're the most handsome person they've ever met, and there was never been anyone like you in their life. They tell you all of this, right? Like no one tells you this, right? But a narcissist will, a toxic person will, and they say all these things, and they tell you you're their soulmate forever and ever, and you'll never be separated. And you get bound to them. You start to bond with them. They can still flip their emotions off when you no longer give them narcissistic supply, or if somebody else gives them more heightened narcissistic supply or more fresh narcissistic supply. So even though they say all these things to you, even though they made passionate love with you, even though they had multiple incredible vacations and experiences with you, the time you flew over the Grand Canyon, the time that you climbed a mountain together, the time that you kayaked, in the open sea together, whatever, and they'll tell you like how wonderful those times were and how amazing they want to live the rest of their life doing these things with you. They can flip it off. Like suddenly, out of nowhere, you do something, and let me tell you what those things are. It's these rules. You broke one of these rules. You questioned them. You actually held them responsible for a lie they told. You don't believe them because they're lying to you, right? How dare you? And then they flip that switch, and they are no longer your soulmate. That's absolute insanity to me, you guys. So, okay, number 8 is you have to accept all of their flaws, but they don't have to accept yours. You got that? You have to accept all of their flaws, but they don't have to accept yours. They will act as if I accept myself the way I am. And by the way, they don't really, okay? They don't really accept themselves the way they are. But they want to seem like they're strong people. They want to seem like I'm just so happy with myself. I accept myself, flaws and everything. I know who I am. I, yeah, I'm going to make mistakes, but I forgive myself, which sounds logical, right? Sounds healthy, sounds good. But coming from a toxic person or a narcissist, how it doesn't become good is when they can't accept other people's flaws, including yours. You are not allowed to make mistakes around them. You are not allowed to do anything that distresses them. You are not allowed any of your flaws, and they don't accept any of your flaws. You'd better change all of your flaws if you want to stay with the narcissist. Yeah, but they accept their own flaws, right? And that, again, comes with projection, where they project onto you all of their flaws, even though they say they accept their flaws. The way they accept their flaws is by projecting them onto you and hating you for all the flaws they see in themselves. They accept themselves, they don't accept you, therefore they put all of their, do you kind of understand that? It's kind of on another dimension there where they're putting their personality flaws onto you so that they can beat it to death, meaning they can hurt you, and distance themselves from their flaws. That's how they feel. Like they're distancing themselves from their flaws by projecting them onto you and getting mad at you and beating you up for it. Yeah. And yet they'll say that they accept themselves for who they are. You're like, I don't think so. Okay. Number 9, you guys. I know, look at this. We are making really good progress. So that's the last one. I have one more. Oh, and it's a big one, I'll tell you. Number 9 is the narcissist will distort your interaction or argument with them because their version is obviously objective and right. Yeah. So this is how a toxic person behaves. When you this is why I don't argue with narcissists. I don't argue with fools. I don't argue with toxic people. Because even if you present them with all rational facts, ideas, you're respectful, you keep your tone calm, you don't call them names, you're not being disrespectful. Of course, they're going to be disrespectful. They're going to call you names. They're going to, they're going to put you down. They're going to walk away from that interaction to tell other people how disrespectful you were. They're going to walk away from that and tell other people how you insulted them and criticized them and attacked them personally. They're going to tell other people that the way this discussion that you had with them, they were the calm ones and you were the one who went crazy and were losing your mind and got angry. That's how they will be. They will distort your interaction or argument or relationship that you had with them. That's the very, very sad part of all of this. And that's how they get other people to believe them, because they're like, wow, well, no wonder you acted the way you did, because your partner, your friend, your neighbor uh, was being so awful to you. Remember? Because they're always the victim. Uh, yeah. So that's how they get people to agree with them. And then they take that to market, right? They take that and they use that as support for how they feel and how they behave, because the people they told the distorted version, of course, right? This distorted version that went out, people believed it, people supported it, so therefore they were right. These are the rules of a toxic person. These are the rules of a narcissist, toxic, self centered, jerk, whatever you want to call it, person who is not ready to grow up, who is not ready to take responsibility for themselves. And in some cases, and sadly, in a lot of cases, they are never going to change. They're never going to think about the other person. And that's why we differentiate between a narcissist and just a jerk. Okay, a jerk will do all of these things too. A toxic person will do all of these things too. But a narcissist does not grow out of this. A narcissist just doesn't change. Narcissists just can't see why they need to change. They are so deluded, and that's why I do these criminal cases where it gets to that point that they are that deluded and that detached from reality that they are willing to hurt the people, endanger the people that they supposedly love. The same people that they call their soulmates, the same people that they raise in a family, the same people that it looked like on the outside they cared about, right? So, uh, you guys, when you see these rules surface in any relationship, you need to start distancing yourself. Um, in the cases where they're not a narcissist and they're just a jerk, okay? And they just need some maturing. I get that. I get that. Those people who need maturing, they're just being a jerk, they actually come around. They feel guilt. They feel bad when they hurt you. A narcissist does not feel bad when they hurt you. They will not come back and apologize. And if they, but let me rephrase this, they will apologize if it's a manipulation that works. So they'll say sorry, 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 sorry again and again and again, but then they'll redo it. And in the midst of doing whatever they did to harm you, they're going to say you deserved it. So that's not really sorry, you guys, okay? Or if they say they're sorry, but you deserved what they did. They just feel sorry that they had to do this to you. That's not an apology. Well, you guys, those are the 9 rules. Let me recap all of them after I look at some of these comments. Angel says, oh my gosh, yes. Let them speak until they say it's your turn to speak. Ridiculous, right? Yeah, they want to be in control. See, Thomas says, my sister Narc, the same. She's always right, is the same. She's always right. I learned to ignore her. Yeah, that's what we have to do. You have to just walk away. You have to ignore it. You cannot just, you don't want to enable it, but you don't want to engage in it either. If there is a chance that you can get your point of view out, if there is a chance that you can speak some truth into the argument, speak some truth into the relationship, do it. Absolutely do it. But don't do it if you know they're going to be physically violent. All right. Like, that's not worth it. If you can say your piece and walk away, or say your piece and they still are caught up in their crazy mental state, let them stay in their crazy mental state. At least you said your part, right? But beware of rule number 9. They will distort what you said. They will distort how you said it, and they will distort how you treated them during the discussion, argument, interaction, relationship, whatever it was that you had with them. So let me see how some of these comments, let me see how far I need to go back. Wow. Yep. Measure Twice says, I don't equate strong people as narcissistic. Strong people can still have integrity and respect boundaries. Absolutely. I absolutely agree with that. Thank you, Measure Twice. Um, let me see. C. Thomas says, question them and you'll pay a price somehow. I try many times and got devalued, discarded. So before that, I'll just agree with everything they say. Yeah, and they think, oh, you see, I was right because nobody challenged me. I won the argument because nobody argued back with me. And the point, the sad point is, let me tell you this, it's nothing to fear, by the way. The sad point is they have no idea that people are laughing at them. They have no idea people are going, that was total crazy town over there that just happened. I'm not getting involved in this. I'm backing out. And you don't interact with their crazy, demented thinking or argument. And they think, oh, see, I was right. Everybody agreed with me. No, they just kind of like shake their head at you and go, or, to the toxic or narcissist and go, I'm not interacting with that. Diva says narcs are to be pitied and laughed at from afar. Yeah, right. What I'm doing, I feel bad. In a way, I feel bad. I don't want to laugh at people. I want them to heal. Ultimately, I would wish that for them. And the narcissists that are in my life, I feel sorry for them. I really do. I had a friend who came over for coffee yesterday, and she was talking about her narcissistic parent, and I, the thing that came out from her, or for her, was that she felt sorry for her parent. She actually felt sorry for her narcissistic parent because she knows her parent is not ever going to have a fulfilling life. They're old, they're on their way out. Nobody wants to be around them. Nobody wants a relationship with them. All interaction with them is abusive. And that's all that they have are people who are loyal still to them because they're family, but most of the family already cut them out of their life. So my friend felt sorry for her parent. And so she and I got to talk about that. And, same thing for me. I feel very sorry for the narcissist that is in my life. Now they're not still abusing me. Like if they're still abusing me, I probably would not feel all that sorry for them. I have limits. I have boundaries. That doesn't happen anymore. So it's been good. Yep. Measure Twice says, toxic people get outraged if called selfish. They may not show the outrage, but they are seething, or else they do show the outrage. All depends on personality type. Yeah, Diva says, I stopped arguing with these clowns. That's what they want. The best way to deal with them is to go no contact and ignore them. Absolutely. Yes. Okay, C. Thomas says, my sister narcs. Oh, I'm sorry, we already said that. Oh, okay, I'm recovering some of these. Eyes wide shut. Good to see you. Says, I thought all the interruption was a game. I didn't know anything about that. It happened so often by my narc and her family. I'd get so upset. Yeah, so annoying. Well, you guys, our hour is up. It goes by so fast. Yeah, Measure Twice says narcissists often continually change the rules and move the goalposts, right, to set their needs. Yes, they do. So all the rules benefit them, and they don't ever benefit you or me. That's what, the main thing about these 9 rules is will never benefit you or me. They benefit only the narcissist. They benefit only the toxic person. And when you're dealing with a person who has these rules that benefit just them, at first you give into it because you think, oh, these are good rules, right? If it goes 2 ways, right? If you, not the lying part, not some of these rules where you have to believe them even when they're lying, and that their feelings trump everything, so feelings are what's most important over actual fact or truth or intention, yeah, some of these rules, it's not good for anybody. But some of them, it would be okay if it were mutual, like no interruption, right? Hey, let each person speak. That sounds good. But with a narcissist, It is a one-way street, you guys. So let me see. I'm going to let you finish catching up and finishing up some conversations here. Narc lives matter, but I will let God be the judge and sort out what happens to them. Narcs will not be part of my life. Yeah, Diva says they need instant gratification. Yeah, and that's that switch that they turn. If you are not no longer giving them instant gratification and you're challenging them, then they suddenly will no longer speak to you. Like after years or many, many months of falling madly in love. Oh my gosh, you guys, somebody gave me $5. Thank you so much. That's so sweet. I don't know how to find this. I don't know who did it. I'm sure it says later on here. Thank you so much. I appreciate that. Um, Diva says, yes, Angel, it's been 16 months, no contact since I dumped and abandoned the ex-narc. Life is good. No looking back. C. Thomas says, measure twice. Yes, have to remove them or limit contact if it's imposing family. Yeah, exactly. If it's family, that's what I do, which is the limiting the contact. But I know some people who have family and they have gone no contact because that family member is so toxic. Yeah. Angel says, I have kids with mine, unfortunately. Makes it more difficult. It does. It does make it more difficult. But here's the thing you have to interact with your children as if you have no feeling whatsoever for the narcissist. You're not going to react badly. You're not going to react favorably. You're just going to, pretty much just let slide everything that has to do with your narcissistic ex, and you focus solely on your interaction with your children as if the narcissist doesn't exist. Yeah. You have to be in the moment with your children, enjoy them, focus on them, oh, wow, I'm sorry. I didn't realize I was not focused on this picture very well because I have to scroll here. Eva says, oh, there's so many good comments, you guys. So sad that I can't read all of them. They are terrible parents. Yeah, narcissists are terrible parents, Lady Bobannon says. Diva says, once the fog lifts and you leave these creatures in the past, the universe comes together and starts making things work out for you. Life goes back to normal. Things are clear. Yes, absolutely. I agree with that. Measure Twice says, same here. Having kids with the narc is a whole different ballgame. It is life alcoholism and require lifelong management and awareness until they die. Oh, I'm so sorry. So sorry. Oh, it's like alcoholism. Okay. Yeah, you cannot interact with the narcissist. Keep it as limited because, that's family now, right? Because you're related through your children. You have to keep it as limited contact as possible. And that's it's doable. It really is. It's still doable. Orange Blossom, welcome and good to see you. Says, OMG, they will want to call people who will agree with them to show you they're right. Yes, right? But they give the distorted version. And that's what other people are agreeing with is the distorted version, narcissist's version. And they're like, see, all these people agree with me. Oh my gosh, you guys. Oh, funny. Angel says, oh my gosh, always taking polls. C. Thomas says, Diva R, yes, it does get clear like a whole new life. Peaceful. Well, you guys, I'm trying to skip through, but I sometimes miss so much. You guys are so awesome. So glad to see you here. Measure Twice says, I am 7 years post-divorce, and my ex-narc is crazier than ever at age 53. The kids are 15 and 11 and know their father is highly irresponsible and try to love him as best they can. They are aware. Oh my gosh, Measure Twice. It might be a good idea for them too as they get older. Maybe, well, yeah, not for them. Maybe the 15-year-old to watch some of these videos, but the 11-year-old, just talk to the 11-year-old about healthy boundaries and teaching them both how to build healthy boundaries. I recommend it all the time, so often, the boundaries books. I think there are boundaries for children as well. I could be wrong, but I believe there is a book called Boundaries for Children. And that may be between parent and child. Um, but if you would read the boundaries books and impart some of these skills, these life skills to your children, they will be able to use this when they are with your ex. And that will save them so much pain, so much grief. Um, it'll help them to know what they're responsible for and what they're not responsible for. And it'll help them in all of their relationships after that. Yeah. You guys, thank you so much for coming on. Oh, here's Angel says, my kids are almost 18, 13, 10, and 7, and they're aware too, to an extent. And again, I want to tell you, read these boundaries books, teach the skills, these life skills to your children. Have these conversations with them, talk to them and let them know when somebody else is trying to pressure you. And you don't have to say it's their dad or their parent or whoever, you can just say, give them examples, some real examples from your own life or made up examples. And they'll get it. They'll start to draw the correlation. They'll start to draw the connection, and they'll be able to use these skills when they're with narcissistic people, and it'll save them from being manipulated and being abused. Well, you guys, oh, Crazytown Productions, good to see you. Says they are raised to be entitled and assume their family or household or anything that is an extension of them has more priority over you. That's why only sociopaths stand up for other sociopaths. Oh my gosh, yeah, they choose specific people that they stand up for, but at the same time, they'll take advantage of those people. That's the crazy, oh my gosh, sociopaths are, yeah, obviously nuts, right? Yeah. I'm looking through some of these comments. You guys, oh. Diva says, kayaked in the open sea together. Wow, I actually did that with an ex-narc in the sea of Cortez. Never again. Yeah, wow. Yeah, you have these amazing experiences with them, and you think it's so beautiful, and you make this connection, and you feel connected, soul to soul. And then in an instant, they're done. And you're like, how can someone just walk away like that after such a deep connection, such deep interactions, such deep experiences? But that is a narcissist. Well, you guys, God bless you. I wish you so much joy and health, and I wish you so much healing. I want you to know that things are good, so good on the other side. And as some of you have already written, that you've been getting rid of toxic people in your life, getting rid of narcissists in your life, and how the world is opening up to you. Oh my gosh, I'm so excited for you. Blessings, and I will talk to you guys. Oh, you know what? I might not talk to you guys next week because I'm going to be traveling. But I will let you know. I'll let you know if I'm going to be able to come on. But if I don't, that's why, because I'm going to be traveling. Oh, I'm going to miss you guys. So I'm going to try all that I can, even while traveling. I may have to do it in a car, so reception may be really bad. We will see. And I might have to do it at a different time. So we'll see. We'll see what I can do. Blessings to you. God bless you. And I will talk to you soon.